This morning, there was a particularly brutal mass shooting in Pike County, Ohio. 5 adults and 2 children were killed in 3 different homes in Pike County, a rural community about 80 miles east of Cincinnati. All are believed to be members of the same family. That family has since been identified as the Roden family. An 8th person was found dead later Friday at a 4th location, but authorities didn't specify it was an adult or a child or say how the person was killed. Now, early on, it was said that this was not an active shooter situation, and we still don't know for sure. The authorities are saying that it is still possible that the shooter or shooters are amongst those that have already been found dead, but we don't know for sure, and if the person is still on the loose, then they should be considered armed and extremely dangerous. We do know from those who have been killed, they were uniformly, according to early information, shot in the head. That's why the execution-style moniker has been applied to it. And apparently many of them might have been sleeping at the time that they were killed because this is very early on Friday. And so a lot of the a high percentage of the mass shootings in America are these family multi-murder situations. But it is noteworthy and particularly hard to grasp that a person would go to multiple locations, one after the other, to murder people all from a single family. Yeah.
Actually, I think it's happened before, like a year or two ago. It was
really?
an in-law or a member of the family. Mm-hmm. And this one, my guess is it probably is as well.
Yeah, and especially when you include the children, it's hard to imagine what could come over a person that would lead them to put this much bizarre effort into wiping out an entire family.
Right, and to have, again, to your point, to then sort of pause for a moment. I mean, you can never get inside the head of somebody that does this, but then to pause for a moment and then go to a second location and then start up again.
Yeah.
Is to have that kind of malice of forethought and that deliberate, cold-hearted approach is just, I can't really begin to actually get inside the head of somebody who would behave like that. It's impossible.
Yeah, the doing it in multiple locations, so cold-blooded is exactly, it's the definition of it, that you could start and stop multiple times.
Right.
And look, we can't rule out anything. Of course, there could be information from the crime scenes that they haven't mentioned yet. Obviously, the local authorities are looking into this. The FBI has dispatched multiple agents to assist in the effort. But it's hard to imagine how, if the killer was amongst the dead, that the weapon used to commit suicide in that way wouldn't have been on the location. And so it seems difficult to imagine that the killer isn't still on the loose. With the number of different locations that it happened, I imagine there will be quite a bit of evidence. Hopefully they will be able to track this person down in the very near future, because the people of this area have, of course, got to be absolutely terrified. We read earlier in the day that the high school in the area, although there had been no particular threat to it, had been put on lockdown for a number of hours. So very sad story, unfortunately in America, one that we experience all too often.